Is it ever okay to get angry? You know, the anger has been a lot in the news. If you watch the Oscars at all, you saw a display of anger. There are times when it's not appropriate, and there are times when it's the most appropriate thing to be righteously angry. We're walking with Jesus through Holy Week, and we are on Monday before the cross and the resurrection. And it's a very famous account shown up in all four Gospels of how Jesus got angry. And I'm going to read to you in Mark 11:15 what happened. It says, "On reaching Jerusalem, Jesus entered the temple area and began driving out those who were buying and selling there. He overturned the tables of the money changers and the benches of those who were selling doves, and would not allow anyone to carry merchandise throughout the temple courts. And as he taught them, he said, 'Is it not written, my house shall be called a house of prayer for all nations? But you have made it a den of robbers.'" Jesus got angry, and Jesus was righteously angry for two reasons. The first of which is essentially the people, as they were traveling for a holiday, had to offer sacrifices to God, and you had to bring a perfect sacrifice. It's hard to carry over distances, and so as a result, to make things easier, there were people who were in the religious industry who provided you doves or lambs that you could purchase, and they apparently had set up shop in the temple, but they were not selling it at cost. They were making a handsome profit, and Jesus was angry at those who were making religion a profiteering exercise as opposed to an opportunity to draw closer to God. And so he was angry for that reason. But the second reason he's angry, if you may have caught it, was in this quotation from Isaiah chapter 56. "My house will be called a house of prayer for all nations." And that gives us the second reasons why Jesus was angry. Jesus was angry because of where they set up. There's a picture of the temple that is really helpful to identify. This was the most sacred space where Jews would encounter God, the most holy place where heaven and earth intersected, were the Holy of Holies in the temple. And then you would go out to the court of priests and then the court of women. And then there was a thing outside the temple called the court of the Gentiles. This was the area where the Gentiles could come and offer sacrifices to God. They weren't born Jewish, but they could come and offer sacrifices. In fact, in Isaiah chapter 56, verse 6, it kind of gives the reasoning that God does this. It says, "And foreigners will bind themselves to the Lord, to serve him, to love the name of the Lord, and to worship him. All who keep the Sabbath without desecrating it, and all who hold fast to my covenant. These I will bring to my holy mountain, and give them joy in my house of prayer. Their burnt offerings and sacrifices will be accepted on my altar, for my house will be called a house of prayer for all nations. The sovereign Lord declares, he who gathers the exiles of Israel, I will gather still others to them besides those already gathered." In other words, in the way God designed his temple, he didn't just design it for the insiders who were born into the family. Instead, he created a space where those who were not born into the family could worship God and offer sacrifices, and to be in right relationship with God. And the reason Jesus was righteously angry was because that place was being denied. They set up shop in that space where the Gentiles would come and be reconciled to God. And so the simple thought for today on this Monday of Holy Week is just simply this. Is there anything that I'm doing that is hindering people from God? Is there anything that I'm doing that's hindering people from encountering God? Or to put it positively is this: what can I do to point people to God? What can I do in my actions, in my words, in my demeanor? Am I a person who is trying to be inclusive to point people to God, or do my actions and attitudes point people away from God? That might be a question that you might consider this week as you go about doing the laundry, driving your car, going to work, having space to listen for other people, judging other people as opposed to just treating them as fellow human beings. I don't know what it would be like for you, but that's a great question to think about. What am I doing in my actions, my attitude, my words to point people to God? We'll see you next time.